Good afternoon and welcome to yet another edition of TH Talks Bengaluru. Today we have with us the Commissioner of Police Bengaluru City, B. Dayananda. B. Dayananda is not new to Bengaluru City. He has earlier served as Joint Commissioner for Crime and Traffic, a 1994 batch officer of the IPS. He hails from the state and has earlier served as Commissioner Mysuru and had one of the longest stints as the intelligence chiefs of the state. He is a fitness enthusiast and a cyclist. So, welcome and thank you very much for sparing time with us for this program.
Thank you. My pleasure also.
As expected, sir, we have been getting a barrage of questions ever since we announced this interaction with you. A majority of them pertain to something that you said is also a priority area, which is traffic. I want to start by reading out two comments. They are from two senior citizens. One is Andal Sharma, who is she says she's 82 years old and she was born and brought up in Malleshwaram. And she has complained about how motorists do not slow down, especially near crossroads, and don't show basic courtesy to pedestrians to cross the roads. We also have V.S. Chandrasekaran, who is 70 and lives in HBR layout. And he also complains of how a majority of two-wheelers and sometimes four-wheelers take the wrong side of the road and how, as senior citizens, they feel uncomfortable and unsafe crossing the roads. So with regard to pedestrian safety, what is the traffic police and what is the Bengaluru police doing to make pedestrians feel safer on Bengaluru roads?
Yes, definitely there will be a lot of questions regarding the traffic management of Bangalore city. One simple answer for the Malleshwaram question would be that yes, we are booking cases for overspeeding, rash and negligent driving and other things. But a deeper answer would be that the road user behavior, it all depends on the road user behavior. And road user behavior depends on the type of habits which are inculcated in them. Good or bad habits, traffic is basically a matter of habit. Good or bad habits are going to stay for a long time. So whatever good have a bad, like for example, a bad habit in India is not to wear seat belt, not to wear helmet. Even when helmet they carry, they will put it on the handlebar, not wear it on the head. So these are some of the bad habits which our people have inculcated over a period of time. So that change of mindset has to be there. Only then the road user behavior will change, and only when that happens, then we can see some permanent solution which will be there. Otherwise, it's all more of firefighting kind of a thing. They jump the laws, we book for them, then collect some penalty and all those things. These things will continue. But to change the road user behavior, yes, we need to create a lot of awareness amongst the people, especially amongst the youngsters, especially the children who, when they attain the age of 18, will have the right habits inculcated in them. Sometimes they become the influencers on their parents that you wear helmet, otherwise I will not sit on your vehicle. You wear seat belt. Many times kids will be telling their parents, fathers, that you are not wearing the seat belt and pointing the finger. That kind of a situation should emerge. So that's why we are also of the opinion that traffic safety should be included in the school curriculum. Both at the primary stage as well as at the higher secondary and even high school stage also, so that we teach them the right road user behavior, then these things will change. Of course, Government of Karnataka has already introduced some chapters on traffic safety at primary and high school level, I'm told. We will have a look at it and then try to build upon that.
Sir Aditya, sir, one of the users, Rajkumar Dugar, he is a founder and convener of Citizen for Citizens. He has been working with Bangalore Traffic Police to campaigning on no honking and silent zones. So he is complaining that while there are awareness drives that have been taken up, there is no enforcement of silent zones near hospitals, schools, even metro. So actually enforcement has been, even when I was speaking to police, they have not yet taken up enforcement of silent zones. Why, and will it be taken up soon, sir?
Silent zone enforcement would require one, either huge manpower, or second thing is some technological upgradation which we need to introduce. Otherwise, as you know, most of our enforcement activity nowadays is contactless. 95, 90, up to 97% of our booking of cases is moved to the contactless mode of booking cases. We generally now don't stop any vehicle for any violation, visible violations, be it not wearing helmet, not wearing seat belt, or many other things. We don't stop them. We book them and send the challan to their address, whatever is given in their registration details. So, but when it comes to silent zone, that is no honking zone and all that, the presence of policemen would be required at that place, and then to catch them and then book them for the violation. That's why I'm telling that the change of road user behavior is an important aspect which could bring in some permanent solution to this one. We may post people in front of a school or a hospital for a particular period of time or particular number of days, but after that one again, if it goes back to the same thing, if the people don't realize that this is a hospital area and we are not supposed to honk here, because signages are there everywhere. If people don't adhere to the signages, which in Western countries they do it, but here they don't do. So this problem will persist.
So in staying with violations, Shriram S has asked, has the process of identifying traffic violators become more difficult because, people change their number plates sometimes, they cover the number plates. There are violations among violations, right? People try to cover up those violations too. So sometimes they say vehicle owners number, the challans are going to the wrong vehicle owners. So he's asking, how is the traffic police tackling these kind of violations?
Yes, there are many such challenges as you have listed out. These are some of the things, but there are many more challenges also which we come across when we try to send the challans to the residences or the addresses. Many times the vehicle would have been transferred or sold from one person to the other person, but it would not, the documents would not have been transferred. So the old owner's address would still be there. So technically, he would still be liable because the address has not been changed. It is their bound and duty to get it changed, but they don't do it. So that becomes a problem for enforcement, and many such challenges are there. We are working with the transport department because they are the custodians of the database of these registered vehicles, and we are trying to resolve these issues.
Sir, one of the readers, Shreyas, has asked, because of the traffic congestion in Bangalore, should odd and even system that was implemented in Delhi, is it feasible to be implemented in Bangalore also?
Odd and even
are there any thoughts?
Has been discussed and debated earlier. There are pros and cons for that one, to do it or not to do it and all that. It is a policy level decision which has to be taken at the government level. I'm not sure whether now any study has been done. Earlier studies, when I was in traffic earlier in 2014-15, we felt that it would be, not at that time, not a very feasible solution that what was felt at that time. Now I'm not sure. I have to check up that one.
There is also a question about speed breakers on the city's roads. Again, this is not something that directly comes under your department per se, but some residents of Electronic City have pointed out how on service roads, especially, speed breakers don't really have markings. And so if you're on a two-wheeler, it becomes dangerous to be going on speed breakers without any warning. Anything that's being done from the police to tackle that, sir, with the other departments?
The problem we have with regard to the speed breakers is two things. One is that no road marking will be there on that one. And second thing is they would have been put very unscientifically. So we are trying to do an exercise of collecting the places where these road humps or speed breakers have been put up unscientifically and pass it on to the BBMP. It's an ongoing activity to the BBMP to rectify these things. Many a times because of local pressures, because people will say there is a school or there is this thing, we need a speed breaker. Somebody will come and put the speed breaker without properly following the guidelines of the national code, how they have to be erected. And that becomes a problem and a nuisance, and other agencies will not know that a speed breaker has come up there. So we pointed out and we have given the geolocation of these places where the speed breakers have been put up unscientifically and where there is no road marking. So with the BBMP authorities, we are working with them to ensure that they are removed and proper speed breakers are put. In fact, we are suggesting that speed breakers should be erected only on the suggestion and approval of the traffic police where it is required, rather than at the whims and fancies of the local people. It is put up as it is being done now.
So that flows into the next question. The problem is many of these infrastructure projects like flyovers, underpasses, and other things that are initially pitched to solve the congestion issue have actually either pushed the to the next junction, or it has essentially not worked, including, for example, the Shivananda Circle steel flyover. Now the congestion is at the railway underpass. So one of the main things is how involved is the traffic police in deciding and designing these infrastructure interventions, sir? Because you are the people on the ground.
Absolutely, very true. You cannot, flyovers do not solve traffic problems. Signal-free corridors will not solve traffic problems. In fact, there is a concept in traffic management that you build a good flyover, you build a good traffic-free corridor. It invites more traffic, it invites more vehicles. If people come to know that this vehicle, they can move faster, they start coming onto that road, and automatically the congestion will develop. You build a flyover, at that junction, the congestion will be reduced, but it will get accumulated at some other point. So therefore, you cannot build the flyovers and solve your problems. It requires much more deeper understanding of urban transport, and we need expert suggestions on that one. How to what are the permanent or long-term solutions for easing the congestion and having a smooth traffic in the city. So we have to work in that direction.
Sir, but is there a system where you are able to give inputs in deciding and designing these interventions?
We work closely with BBMP. There is an engineering division in BBMP. We work very closely with them. At times, there are certain things which sometimes they do things without our knowledge. Then we have to, sort it out at a higher level. So that process is going on.
Sir, another reader from Indranagar, Hina Rajpal, she has asked about many junctions which actually need signals, still don't have signals. Many of the inner residential areas are also now getting overcrowded, and they need signals ideally, and there are no signals. There are many such, even in outer zones, especially many junctions that are yet to get a signal. Is there any proposal to increase the number of signals?
Yes, the signalization process is going on in a phased manner. We identify new places, as she has suggested, some place suddenly the congestion will be more and we have to put signals there. So this is an ongoing process, and we have identified such places, and in a phased manner signals will be put up.
So the next question is twofold. We have two sides of the story. One is a lot of residents, one of them is RP Rajesh, pointing out how pedestrian movement is obstructed by street vendors. So they're asking, what are you doing about it? But also the other side of the story is Vinay Srinivasa, who's an advocate. He's asked why traffic police are routinely evicting street vendors, even though under the Street Vendors Act, they cannot do so, and whether any action is being taken by BBMP on this.
Yeah, there are 2-3 issues which are merged into this question. Number one is the freedom of pedestrians to walk on the footpaths. Unfortunately, Bangalore City, the walkability index is very poor in Bangalore City. The infrastructure is not up to the mark where people can walk easily, safely, and in a proper manner. So that has to improve, definitely. Second issue is regarding the street vendors being on the footpath. It is an area which we don't enforce it. It is the BBMP authorities or the civic agencies which they enforce this matter, and they are the ones who have to act on that.
Sir, there is an added question, sir, about street hawkers using megaphones and how it is disturbing peace in residential areas. And there is a request to crack down on that.
You mean the push carts which they
yes, sir,
to the lanes and by lanes and all that?
Yes, sir.
We will examine that whether we can enforce that one. I'll just check up, or it has to be done through BBMP. We'll examine that.
Another question is on parking, sir. This came even when Mr. Salim participated while he was the traffic commissioner. Two things. One is parking blocking footpaths, and second is on residential areas, even private vehicles, tempos, etc., being parked for days on end. Residents have asked, in Jairam is one of them, they've asked, what is the police doing about this?
No, parking being a hindrance to the traffic movement, we are booking cases on them. In fact, now we have started taking up FIRs on such places where in no parking areas, they park the vehicles and create hindrance to the other road users. We are booking cases on them. And as regards places where such vehicles are parked for more number of days, they can give the details to our traffic police or to our 112 control room. We will go verify whose vehicle is that, and we may take action on such persons.
Sir, there is also the complaint of many seized vehicle and vehicles involved in accidents being parked for long durations in front of police stations, even in some underpasses, for example, in Malleshwaram.
So that situation was there, but now we have improved because we have taken some land where we are shifting them. Dumping yards have been created, I think, at 2 places in Bangalore city. So we are shifting all the vehicles which generally you used to see in front of the police stations. We are shifting them to these dumping yards rather than being parked in front of police stations. We are shifting them there, and then once the case gets disposed, they will be taken back from there.
Sir, one reader, Shashidhar Babu, has asked that I'll combine 2 or 3 questions. That there is no enforcement about smaller crimes, like not crimes per se, nuisance cases, loud music, smoking in public. And also there are questions about how police are not very cooperative when people go to the police stations to lodge complaints about mobile thefts, wallet loss, and also smaller crimes, and even cycle thefts, apparently. So even smaller crimes are important, right? So how do you address this?
I agree with you. Smaller crimes are the one which have greater impact on the people, especially the poor sections of the society. Few things we are doing in this regard. You mentioned about mobile theft. The mobile theft, now there is more number of cases are being registered than earlier, and then we have the CEIR portal. Whenever a mobile is lost or misplaced or stolen, they can go to that portal. People themselves can go to that portal and give the details of IMEI number and other things, and it will be deactivated. Even if somebody uses it, they will not be able to use it because connectivity will not be there. And at the same time, the intimation will come to the police that so and so mobile which was stolen or which was lost is being used by so and so person. Then we are contacting them and retrieving those mobiles back and returning to the citizen who has lost it. And it's a very successful project, and we have been able to successfully retrieve several mobile phones which have been lost, stolen, or misplaced, and hand over to the original owners. And other issue is which are the other things you mentioned? Other crimes?
Smoking in public, loud music,
Smoking in public, yes. Smoking in public, we are booking cases under COTPA. Now there is a limit beyond which police can do in that one. Again, the behavior and attitude of the people also has to change in this regard. Then loud music, yes, a lot of complaints we are getting and a lot of complaints we are attending to on a daily basis. If you come to our number 112 control room, especially in the night times, we get information on such incidents. People are informing us, and we are going to the places where such loud music is coming, and we are stopping the music or telling them to stop it. Now we are also planning to, where such complaints come repeatedly, we are planning to take further action, either seizing the equipments or booking a case on such individuals who keep on violating this noise pollution rules.
So that is especially relevant in Indiranagar and Kormangla, where the pubs are there. There was action to check the noise pollution levels also. Are you looking at enforcement in
we are
those
looking
regions?
at it, enforcing that one. Of course, Indiranagar and this thing that used to happen earlier, now the Indiranagar and this thing has become very quiet. Because I live there, I know that.
Sir,
yeah, go on, Aditya.
One related question to this, sir. One reader, Sitaram, has recounted his experience, how he lost some money in a cyber crime and he approached the police, but he couldn't get any justice. So there is this repeated complaint that cyber crimes are not being taken seriously, especially if the loss of money is lesser, even after the CIR has come into force, cyber information. So there was a promise by former DG and IG that more cybercrime police stations will be established and more personnel will be trained. So what is the situation? And I understand that the number of cybercrime cases is very huge to investigate every case, and CIR has helped to some extent. But what further, sir? further, what is the next course?
Yeah, you only mentioned about CAR. It has been a game changer as far as tackling the cyber crimes is concerned, because many times the people who get involved in these such cyber crimes, where they especially lose the money, they are more interested in retrieving that money rather than pursuing the case or identifying the accused, arresting the accused, and other things. In that one, cyber incident report, which Karnataka Police pioneered, that has been a game changer, and it has been implemented on a national scale. Now there is a dedicated number for that one, 1930, and any person who comes across any cyber fraud or any gets involved in a cyber crime can directly call that number and give the details. There is a concept of golden hour, just like the concept of golden hour is there for traffic accidents, for cyber crimes also. If you report the crime or the incident details of the crime as quickly as possible, once you come to know that you are victim of a cyber crime, then it will be easier for us to block the account, and it will be easier for the person also to be hopeful that his money will be returned. Now under 1930, we are blocking the automatically the blocking process takes place. If he gives the account number details and other things, immediately the account gets blocked. And if the person has not taken off the money, then it can be retrieved. And even second level, third level blocking also is being done now. And under CIR also, we are still working with CIR also, wherein our people positively engage with the person who has lost the money and advise him to where to lodge the complaint, how to lodge the complaint, and ensure that whether he has registered the complaint or not. And we'll also engage with our SEN police stations, cyber economic and narcotics police stations, and tell them that such and such a person has contacted us, you have to register his case. So this is a two-way process, and actually we are engaging with the community, whoever is a victim of cyber frauds. And regarding the capacity building, yes, the SEN police stations are getting overloaded with too many cases. So that's why now a decision has been taken that simple cyber cases can be registered in the local law and order police stations also, and they can investigate simple cases, and they can take the assistance of the cybercrime police stations, what we call the SEN police stations, in case they need any assistance, or in case they feel that the case is beyond their scope or their capability, they can transfer the cases to the SEN police stations. So that process is on, and instructions have been given to all the law and order police stations also to entertain cyber complaints. Because earlier what used to happen was, if a person goes with a cybercrime complaint to a law and order police station, they simply used to tell that you go and register your complaint in SEN police station. It doesn't come to our jurisdiction. And then he has to go in search of SEN police station, which is there in Bangalore city in all the DCP's offices. So they have to go there and register the complaint. It was a little bit of a inconvenience for the public to go and register the complaint. So that's why now we have decided that even if somebody walks into the law and order police station, rather than sending them to SEN police stations, they let them register the complaint, they investigate it, and if they need assistance, let them take assistance from SEN police station. If they need to transfer it because of some reason, that also can be done. And complicated cases, important cases can be done by SEN police station. Then at the next level, we have a cybercrime police station exclusively in the commissioner's office also. This will handle much more complicated, much more advanced cases. So like this, a layered approach is being thought of, so that people are not inconvenienced as far as cyber crimes are concerned. Because as you yourself are telling, the number of cyber crimes is increasing manifold nowadays. There is exponential growth of these cyber crime cases. In fact, we are moving from bloodless crimes to bloody crimes to bloodless crimes. So nowadays we are not seeing many of these earlier crimes, that is theft, robbery, dacoity. These kind of cases are coming down, whereas the number of cheating, fraud, misappropriation, and cyber, these kind of cases are on the increase. That's how the society is changing.
Sir, for a clarification, sir, just to clarify for the citizens. So if I am a victim of a cyber fraud, I can walk into any police station and lodge a complaint, and the transfer will be taken care at your end?
Yeah, at our end. Yeah.
So I can lodge a complaint
at any police station. Before lodging, it's best thing to do is to call 1930 or our number 112 number. There first you give the information, so that the account or whatever details are there, if you give those things, the account gets blocked. Then our people only will inform that you can go to the police station and complain, and which police station and other things also they will take care. Even otherwise, if you do not avail this service of 1930 or number 112, you can go to a local police station and lodge your complaint. But I would suggest the best way would be to contact either number 112 or 1930, which is much faster, much more efficient, and the chance of recovering or retrieving the money is much higher if you inform through this 1930 or 112. Because even if you go to the police station also, they will also go to 1930 and give all the details. So that which you yourself can do.
Just staying with the same theme, sir, I mean, the same topic. Nishchit has asked, is there any system that is being done by the cybercrime division to give the status update on registered cyber crimes? Because they are saying for someone who may have lost out on a lot of money, they're probably not emotionally in a state to keep following with the police. So they're asking us, is there any follow-up system that the cybercrime police will put in place?
Under 1930, there is no follow-up provided, but under 112, that's a cyber incident report, we are following up the cases and giving the status also to the complainants.
So we also have a question on women's safety. Aishwarya has asked about the Safe City project as well as Nirbhaya funds, and when we'll see CCTV cameras being put in place. What are the steps that the police are taking to make the city safer for women?
Yes, definitely. Women's safety is one of our priority area or the priority area, and Bangalore City Police has several initiatives for the safety of women which they can avail, and we are also trying to make aware of the women regarding the initiatives which we have got. As far as the cameras are concerned, under Safe City project, we have already put the cameras in about 4,100 locations in the first phase, and the second phase is also coming up. It's an ongoing project, and nearly about 7,500 cameras will be put up all across the city by the Bangalore City Police. Then they have the back-end video analytics and other things are there. Then you might have heard about our safety island concept, wherein at some important locations we have put up a small kiosk kind of a thing, through which even if you don't have a mobile phone with you, through mobile phone you can contact our number 112 or send a message to our WhatsApp complaint number or inform somebody. But if you don't have any of these things also, if you go there and press the button, automatically our control room will come to your assistance, our command center will come to your assistance, and they will lead the entire chain of events, what needs to be done. Like if you are a victim of chain snatching, they will immediately send our SWAT team there, and they will come, and then they will verify the nearby CCTV cameras and try to identify the culprit. And if there is any vehicle involved, they will try to find out the number plate and the address details. And the investigation process will be much faster than what it can happen when you go to the police station. You might have also come to know that one foreigner who lost his belongings, laptop, passport, and foreign currency recently near Garda Mall, he just availed the service of safety alert, and immediately police responded, and he got all his belongings back. Probably this he might not have done in some of the Western countries also, but it is possible in Bangalore City.
Sir, as a follow-up question to that, there are concerns about while Safe City project has been welcomed, there are also some concerns raised because it will lead to a lot of surveillance, because there is a element of surveillance, face recognition, AI being used. Now we are using drones. So this seems to be the future of policing. So there are concerns about surveillance, data privacy, and also data breach. So how do you address that, sir? Especially surveillance. Are we moving towards a surveillance?
The purpose of these things is not surveillance at all. Surveillance has a different connotation and different gamut altogether. The purpose here is not surveillance. The purpose here is safety. To ensure safety, especially in public sphere. We are not surveilling on people. We are trying to collect details through the CCTV cameras. CCTV camera is like a policeman standing on the roads. He has eyes on the people who are on the roads. So other than that, it has absolutely no privacy concerns, and all the safety precautions regarding data privacy and other things are inbuilt into the system.
There is also a question from Shafiq, who's asked about beggars in the city. So he is saying that that it's become a nuisance and beggars are seen all over the city. What is the police doing to tackle this menace?
Yes, we are getting some complaints especially on social media regarding begging, especially begging which happens in front of junctions or during some celebrations or some functions at home. People come and try to beg, and they try to misbehave or behave in a very rude manner and all that. We have taken cognizance of this one. We need to work with the civic agencies in this regard. We will definitely do that.
Sir, one of the readers, Syed, has asked about how during evening time, Hoysalas and policemen go on a collection drive from street vendors. This is as old as policing, I think, about police corruption. And what are the measures you are trying to take to curb corruption within the force?
No, absolutely not. As far as Hoysala patrol system is concerned, it is the backbone of policing. In fact, any metropolitan city of the nature of Bangalore, without a proper and robust patrol system, we cannot police the city better and provide service to the city in an efficient manner. Therefore, we have given much focus on that one. We need to, number one, make the functioning of Hoysala patrolling system more efficient, more systematic, and more robust. And at the same time, what you are mentioning regarding this other bad practices, we have to put an end to it. So we have taken several measures in this regard already. As you know, we all of the city officers of Bangalore City Police, they all went on patrolling duty for 4 or 5 hours, and then they understood the problems, the difficulties, and also how to improve and strengthen further. A lot of feedback we have obtained, and we are in the direction of strengthening this patrol system. Some simple things like good communication equipment, and then providing them with body worn cameras and other equipments will strengthen. And at the same time, this is a monitored system. It is not that they are left free to go wherever they want and whatever they want. It is being monitored by the command center. All their activities are under radar, and whatever service they do, whatever calls they attend, it is all monitored, and even public feedback is also taken. Their performance is rated, like in private sector they do the rating of any service. We rate their performance, and then if anybody has got a low or poor ranking, they are called and counseled. So, and we also monitor the response time and other things, and we are able to respond within 8 minutes. That is from the call dispatch to the patrol vehicle reaching the spot where the incident has happened. It is taking less than 8 minutes, which is reasonably good. And once they are going also, we ask not only the patrol officer what he did, but even the complainant also, person also, whether he is satisfied, whether the police reached there and they resolved their problem and all that. So the perception that Hoysala vehicles are involved in this collection, this thing has to change, because the reality is something different.
Sir, if not the patrolling guys, the other constables in the police stations usually resort to these collections.
Yes, that's a different aspect. That's a different aspect. Since you asked specifically about Hoysala patrol system, I mentioned that what all is being done. But definitely, Hoysala patrol system will be strengthened, and it will be the backbone of Bangalore City Policing, and you will see a lot of changes in the future.
Sir, also, since you have taken over, you went on patrolling yourself. You have opened a new channel of communication through WhatsApp for citizens to complain. For many years now, one of the major concerns for citizen is fear in approaching the police or walking into a police station, the stigma attached to it. And once you go there, or whenever you encounter a police officer on the road also, the rude behavior is a common complaint. And also when you lodge a complaint, refusal to file FIRs in police stations is a common complaint. So what are you doing to address this problem of refusing to file FIRs?
This again is a matter of perception that people are fearful of police. Gone are the days when people are fearful of the police and other things. I mean, the reality is, or maybe something different. I mean, have you walked into any police station and gone and tried to avail any service? We have counselors, and some of the police stations look much better than some of the corporate offices also. So we have counselors who are sitting as a receptionist. They ask you what is your issue, what is the problem. We have the visitor management system. We have a feedback mechanism, QR code based feedback mechanism has been introduced in all the police stations. So you can give feedback, give suggestions, what experience you have underwent. Therefore, we are moving away from the older perception that people are fearful. In fact, we want people to recognize us as their friends, as their well-wishers kind of a thing. And many a times we do see in social media that how smooth or how friendly their experience was when they visited the police stations. There are definitely problems like non-registration of a complaint, and other things are there. That feedback can be given by the individuals, and we from the department also nowadays we are sending decoys to the police stations and testing our policemen whether they attend to them properly and whether they attempt to register the complaints or not. Complaint registration also has become a smooth process thanks to our police IT system. It is no longer the same drudgery of writing everything manually and other things. Everything is computerized, automated, so it's a smooth process. So you should go to, go to the police station and experience us, then you can give the feedback.
Sir, any
Just,
instructions on compulsory registrations of complaints? That always comes up again and again.
Sorry, I didn't get your question.
Any instructions from your side on compulsory registration of complaints and FIRs?
Yes, absolutely. There is no this thing on that. There is
So
no
staying
relaxation
with
on that. Instruction has been there and it is being complied.
staying with the same themes, there are two parts, 2 to 3 parts to this. One is basically staff strength wise itself. Now that the city has expanded much beyond what it used to be, what we are doing to strengthen the staff strength of the police force. That is one. Second is we've got quite a few very specific cases where people have mentioned there is a delay in arrests, there is a delay in following court orders. We don't want to read them out on a public platform, but any grievance redressal that you've put in place for such cases. And the third part to this whole police image is also Bengaluru being a cosmopolitan city. There are some allegations of the language barrier coming into play sometimes, if at all. Anything being done to address that, sir?
Too many questions have been together. I may forget the questions. The first issue is with regard to what was the first issue you mentioned?
You could start off with the police staff strength.
Staff strength, yes. Staff, yes, definitely. We have, the city like Bangalore, which has a population of nearly 1.3 crores. The staff which we have got is short staff, and compared to other metropolitan cities in India, also we are much less in number, much less in number. No doubt about that one. We have been approaching the government, and government also has been responsive for our requirements. And this year, we have got a sanction for nearly about 2,500 fresh staff for Bangalore city alone, which in the next 2 years it is supposed to come to Bangalore city. We are strengthening the police. We are not much in favor of opening new police stations, which has a lot of overhead costs and other things. So we are strengthening the existing police stations where there is heavy role of law and order or crime. These kind of police stations, the strength is being increased. Then we are creating more women police stations. Like now we have got only 2 women police stations in the city, one's in the eastern part, the other in the western part. Now we have a plan of opening women police stations in every division. Like we have cybercrime police station in every division under the DCP. We are opening women police station in every DCP division, because we are seeing that the number of women complaints from women, this thing is increasing. So these new women police stations will be opened, and new traffic police stations are being opened. And as I said, the strength of the existing police stations is being increased so that they will be provided with more number of manpower. And second thing is technology. Technology is a great force multiplier as far as policing is concerned. The CCTV cameras, what I mentioned, every CCTV camera is like a policeman on the roads. It is not only the CCTV cameras which we have put up under the Safe City project, which is about 7,500. There are many more CCTV cameras which have been put up by the BBMP under the local initiatives, by the MLAs, by the corporates and other things. We are trying to pull in all those things. And many places at police station level, they have put up their own CCTV cameras through these local initiatives. So all the cameras are also pulled in. Plus, under the Public Safety Act, which is there in Karnataka, even all the business establishments, private establishments, they are supposed to put up CCTV cameras on the direction and or on the advice of the police officers of a specific particular specifications, and also they are supposed to have storage capacity and all that. All these things will act as a force multiplier and help us in better policing the city.
The second half of the question was about grievance redressal. So in case delivery of justice is delayed.
Yes, so when a person is has given a complaint to the police station and investigation is on, then really the people do get SMS messages regarding the further course of investigation, whatever has happened. Plus, they can also walk into the police stations and ask the police officer regarding the progress of the case. And we conduct every fourth Saturday, what is called as Janasampark Sabha. That is there. It is meant that our police officers will be sitting in the police station only to talk to the people and seek their advice and understand their grievances and try to resolve them. So these are many methods through which they can redress their grievances. And of course, they can walk into any DCP's office or COP's office and give their details. We will act upon that.
And the last half was about the language barrier issues. So sometimes on social media, we come across cases where someone who is probably not from the state and don't know Kannada face some difficulty conveying to or interacting with police officials. How do you tackle that?
Bangalore is a cosmopolitan city. Not only that one, it is also a global destination. We have people from all walks of life, from various states, from various countries also residing here. So our policemen also, especially the youngsters who are joining the department, they are quite well educated. I mean, though PUC or 12th standard is the minimum qualification what is required to join as a police constable. Nowadays, most of the people who are getting or who are joining the police department are either graduates or postgraduates. Plus, they are also tech savvy and they are active on social media. They identify each and everything what people have mentioned. So our social media team is very strong. Any comment or any complaint or any grievance, whichever is put on the social media, we immediately pass it on to the local officers and they respond to it. And we also put the action taken also on the social media. So we are engaging with the community and there is absolutely no barrier that only Kannada knowing people are being addressed or other things. Kannada is the state language. So yes, definitely primacy has to be given to it. But even other languages, people are also being addressed.
Sir, at least the past 5 to 6 police commissioners have said rooting out drug menace from the city is one of the top priorities. Even you said that. So definitely in the last 3-4 years, especially during pandemic and later, the number of cases have increased and the seizures have also increased. But if you analyze those seizures and arrests, most of the seizures are ganja and most of the arrests are last line drug peddlers. So how do you intend to target the supply, stop the supply of more synthetic drugs, and also catching the bigger fish in the trades?
At least I have not said that I will root out drug menace or crime from Bangalore city. Definitely not, because it is not possible to root out crime. As long as society is there, crime will definitely be there. As long as society and people are there, yes, drug is a menace, definitely, no doubt about that one. But rooting out is not an option. As far as crime control is concerned, I generally relate it to shaving. Like every day you have to shave so that the growth on the face will not be there. If you leave it like that, it will increase over the days. So like that one, if you don't take proactive measures and control crime, crime will increase in the society, like hair grows on the face. So it is like shaving every day. So therefore, an efficient system has to be there wherein we tackle these issues on a daily basis, on a regular basis, respond to these kind of things, and come down heavily on certain type of crimes which drug related things have to be there. And we have been booking a large number of cases. We have been seizing large number of drugs. But the bottom line is that drugs is a problem. It is not just a police problem. It is a societal problem. We have to understand that one, because the easy availability of drugs and the easy acceptance of drugs in the younger community, youngsters, they think that drug is not an issue. Drug is fashion. Many a times, even in the schools and colleges, people or the students, the peer pressure is also building up. Without you being a user of drugs, you will not be accepted into the community and all those things. So we have to tackle this one at a multi-pronged approach would be required, I would say, not just the police, but even the teaching community, the parents, the society as a whole has to approach it. It is not that police versus drug peddlers or police versus people. That kind of an approach will not work. It is the society versus the drug problem. That kind of thing has to be there. We have to handle the youngsters who might have, I would say, the younger generation, who might have, 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 the started taking the consuming drugs for various reasons. The harm reduction has to be there. We have to take them into confidence, see the persons who are supplying the drugs, and come down heavily on them. The big fish, what you are mentioning, and that type of a process is on. And with that in mind only, we are trying to generate more and more awareness amongst the youngsters. Like on 26th June, which was being celebrated as World Anti-Drug Day or whatever. So all our officers went to all the schools, colleges, and try to bring in the much required awareness with the students. And in fact, after our police officers going to these places, we are getting good information from the student community that what is happening, where it is happening. So these kind of things, information is pouring in now. At many schools and colleges which our people did not visit, now those school authorities are coming to us and saying, please come to our school and talk to our students. This enforcement of tobacco within the 100-meter premises of the schools and colleges, that also we have taken seriously. In fact, at some of the places we are seeing that within school and college premises, within 100 meters, not only tobacco products, but also the drugs are also being sold. So we are booking cases on these type of things. It is a zero tolerance policy towards the drugs which we are following.
Sir, there's been a demand from hotels and sorry, you have a follow-up question.
Sir, but there is also the challenge of darknet, drugs being bought from the darknet, and it is a huge challenge to policing also, because what we may be cracking down from the city police may just be the tip of the iceberg. There have been many cases. So is there any new initiative to actually look at darknet? It is not just drugs, there are other cases also. Other sorts of crimes also happening on the darknet. Is there any new initiative to look at darknet?
Darknet is one of the focus area, and we have to strengthen our police. The capacity building has to take place within the police department, and that is definitely happening. And you may be aware that we have booked some cases wherein we have obtained information from the darknet, from the courier companies, and these kind of things. It is happening, and there is more to be done as far as this darknet and other things are concerned.
So usually most of the cases that has happened are usually when the courier is usually transmitted from the virtual world to the real world. Is there any initiative to actually surveillance kind of initiative of the darknet for these crimes and other things? Is that capacity?
There are certain initiatives, definitely. Some things I can talk, some things I may not be able to talk on open forum, but definitely it's a priority area for us. We have understood the problem in its entire gamut, and we are trying to tackle it from different aspects.
So there's been a demand from hotels and retail establishments to keep open 24 hours. What is your stand on that? Because, is the deadline necessary? Because they've been renewing their demand of late.
Well, it is a policy level decision which has to be taken at the government level. So being the head of the police of Bangalore city, I won't be able to respond to that.
Sir, there was an order from the state government in 2022, which has actually allowed for even retail establishments to open for 24 hours. So hotels and restaurants are saying it is the Bangalore city police who are yet to give their permission, while the state government has allowed.
No, it's not true.
That is what the association is saying.
It's not true. Okay.
Sir, another question, sir. In the previous regime, there was some initiative to even review the rowdy sheets, and many rowdy sheets were closed, not only in Bangalore, across the state. You are in intelligence, you will be knowing. So what is your approach to rowdy sheets and measures to control the rowdy menace in the city, sir? Especially there are some concerns over increase in the kind of, not increase, maybe persistence in the kind of robbery cases on the outskirts of the city, especially on ORR, Nice Road and other places. And also one more added question, are you considering the criteria for opening a rowdy sheet to include moral policing, co-vigilantism and other aspects?
No, I'm not sure why you are bringing the aspect of regime here. Regime doesn't matter. The policing is an activity which goes on based on the well-defined rules, procedures, and systems which are in place, irrespective of the regimes. The rowdy sheets, opening of rowdy sheets and closure of rowdy sheets is an ongoing activity. It is done based on certain parameters. Now, if you do not close the old rowdy sheets and if the rowdy sheet list increases, loads, then it will defeat the very purpose of opening the rowdy sheets. The rowdy sheets are open to maintain active surveillance on such type of persons and then take further or more action in case they indulge in repeat crimes. Now, if the number is more also, it is a problem. Number is less also, it is a problem. That means this thing is not much wider enough to cover the active people who are indulging in crime. So, under certain aspects, the rowdy sheets can be closed. Yes, it is happening, and rowdy sheets where the persons are dormant or the cases have been closed, they are not involved in any new crime. So there, the rowdy sheets have to be closed, and it is happening. And the new rowdy sheets also have to be opened, because if you don't open the rowdy sheets on persons who are actually indulging presently in the crimes, there is no point in keeping surveillance on a person who has committed some crime, say 5 years down the line in the past, or 6 years or 7 years. So we have to focus on the persons who are active at this stage, at this juncture. So therefore, we are opening new rowdy sheets also. There is a High Court judgment which we have to follow. We are prescribing to adhering to that one and opening the new rowdy sheets. And we will be monitoring them, and we'll be booking them in higher sections, like it could be preventive sections, it could be externment procedures, it could be Gunda Act procedures. These things will be done on active rowdies if they indulge in crime in Bangalore city.
Sir, about the robberies on outskirts, sir.
Robberies
During
outskirts,
night time.
the strengthening of police patrolling system has to be there. We will review that one. I'm not sure whether there has been any increase. Now that you have brought to my notice, we will verify that one and strengthen the patrolling system, both by the local police as well as our Hoysala patrol system.
So we're reaching the fag end of the session. A couple more traffic-related questions coming in. One is about wheeling and stunt driving that has been on the rise, and we've seen the police crack down on it. But how are you trying to put an end to this menace? That's one question that we've got. Second is about drunk driving. So, how are you tackling it? Are there more drives happening? What is going on that front?
As regards wheeling is concerned, yes, it is very, very dangerous, not only to the person who is indulging in wheeling, but also to the other road users also. Therefore, we have to come down with a very, very heavy hand on them. And we are doing it. We are collecting information, intelligence on places where such wheeling takes place. And we are also identifying the spots where generally these persons choose to indulge in wheeling, and our people are conducting raids and arresting the accused and booking the cases. And now, not only booking the cases, two things we are doing. One is suspending the driving license of the person who indulges in wheeling, and also write to the transport department to suspend or cancel the registration certificate of the vehicle which is indulging in wheeling, because there will definitely be certain modifications done, so which helps them in doing proper wheeling. So those modifications are not allowed under the Indian Motor Vehicles Act. So therefore, we have already discussed this issue with the transport department, and now our officers are writing to the transport department to cancel or suspend the RC. So once the RC is gone, the vehicle cannot come onto the roads. So this also will be done.
Sir, another
where youngsters or juniors are involved, we are going to make the parents responsible, because giving a key to an underage person to drive or indulge in this type of dangerous acts is like giving a weapon in the hands of a teenager. So we are not going to tolerate that one. The parents will be made responsible for it.
Sir, another related question, sir. In some cases, actually, traffic police are booking culpable homicide cases in cases of drunk driving, accidents where the accused was driving in the wrong way, one way, and also wheeling and other kinds of cases. But there seems to be no consistency in the criteria in which cases 304 is booked and in which cases 304A is booked. So is there any guidelines?
There is a guideline that wherever a fatal accident takes place due to a person who has consumed alcohol, who is under the influence of alcohol or under the influence of drugs, it is generally treated as 304 culpable homicide, which means that knowingly he has done this act, that knowing that drunken driving may cause danger to the other road users, he has indulged in this type of an act, and he is responsible for the death of a person on the road. So therefore, this case is being treated as culpable homicide in Bangalore city for quite some time. Nearly about 10-12 years it is being done. And at the same time, even driving against one way and causing death of a person on the road, that again leads to the same conclusion. So therefore, that also is being considered as culpable homicide. So I don't think there is any change or inconsistency in this policy. But at the same time, we have to see the entire circumstances of the case. And therefore, there is, to a certain extent, a case-by-case approach also has to be there. Whether all the ingredients are there in this particular case, just because he was under the influence of something and something happened, whether he is responsible or not, that we have to decide from the case-to-case basis and then decide about it.
So there's also, I mean, there was a recent protest regarding this as well. There is a demand to roll back the 2022 protest licensing order, which restricts protests to Freedom Park. What is the police's stand on this, sir? Because recently, about 2 days ago, there were citizens who also campaigned to be allowed to protest where they would want to. So,
yes, it has been done in my understanding based on some case in the High Court last year. So based on the High Court direction, it is being adhered to. So I have to go back to that one and see what exactly was the direction of the High Court and what it implies. So, but the bottom line why this is being done is that any protest or any procession or any kind of this type of an activity, especially in the CBD area, the area from railway station to in and around Vidhansoda and other places, it creates traffic problems, and rather it cripples the entire traffic movement in the entire city. Now, once some big procession takes place in the heart of the city, and once the roads are choked there, it has ripple effect on all other places in the city, and entire traffic movement in the Bangalore city gets crippled. So, to that extent, I think the High Court observed that one and gave certain directions and guidelines that is being adhered to.
right. So I think that's all we have the time for. If we have any further questions, we'll be sending them across to you. So I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you for taking time out to talk to us and answer all the questions that citizens had. We are continuing to get questions which we'll forward to you. And thank you to all the readers who participated in this initiative. Stay tuned for more on this space. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It has been a pleasure to engage with the Hindu correspondents and also the viewers of readers of Hindu. It's a great pleasure, and a lot of questions have thrown at me, and it has given food for thought for me also, and many things I have to go back and recheck, and ensure that what the people are expecting from the police department, we live up to that. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.